the wacky world of MultimediaJay.
It's feeling like thunderstorms tonight, let me tell you. Absolute jungle weather out there today. Yes, that's right, it's 80 degrees with air conditioning. This is not gonna be fun. So I'm just waiting for the hate mail to start rolling in. Oh, you're an idiot. You can't install Windows 10. Well, here's what happened with the turd Shiba last go-round. Basically, I wasn't just upgrading to Windows 10. I was trying to get the equivalent of a fresh install off of an upgrade disk. Sometimes that's a bit of a problem. Upgrades and fresh installs are sometimes somewhat different things in the world of installing Windows, so I certainly have been going through this ever since Windows 2000 Professional and things like that. I mean, my copy of Windows 2000 was an upgrade version, so when I built the Silver Bullet, yay! I went out and I bought a Windows 98 CD. I actually went out and bought a copy of Windows 98 so I'd have something to run the Windows 2000 upgrade from. Yeah, I still have to tear this setup down, but yeah, there's so much going on, there will probably not be any kind of Friday Light vlog this week, so I'm gonna stick to never doing another vlog over here, but let's use the table one last time while it's still here. So we will not be working on the turd Shiba this time, because actually, if I work on it, I'm gonna try factory redoing it off camera. The real main attraction this go-around is going to be the crap book. Oh yes, the Acer Aspire One from 2012, also running an AMD APU, but dual-core instead of quad-core. By the way, one last thing about the turd Shiba for now. This thing is more solid when it's closed and you're carrying it like this than it is with the screen open and it being all wobble, wobble, wobble and stuff. So here's what's going to happen. This netbook runs Windows 7 Home Premium, as opposed to the turd Shiba running Windows 8. So this device actually has a Windows product key right on it, and it's not encrypted in the BIOS or anything. So here's the thing, I've already pre-registered for a Windows 10 upgrade in Windows 7 via Windows Update on this machine. So the hardware should already be registered. So what I want to know is, with older versions of Windows that still have paper copies of the keys in plain sight, like Windows 7, am I going to be able to just blank this thing and clean install it, and then type in the Windows 7 product key and have an automatic upgrade to Windows 10? So, worst case scenario, I have two portables out of commission, and I end up using Tuxedo to upload this, if I even bother finishing this off tonight. I'm still a little bit tired from last night, because I was up until almost midnight, and tomorrow night, my dad and I are going out to a baseball game as a little father-son thing. We haven't been to a baseball game as father and son in a very long time. It's going to be bittersweet, actually, because we're all significantly older now, and the ballpark that we're going to isn't the ballpark it used to be either, so might be a little depressing, but it'll be something to vlog about later on. Alright, let's finish hooking this thing up, and let's get to work. We've got G-parted, and we can always factory redo all of these. And I think while this is going on, I might plug in the turd Shiba somewhere else and run the factory reset on this to get it back to Windows 8. And maybe if we can get Windows 10 working, and just like that, because it's Windows 7 that this thing's coming off of, so we have a product key to type in that's not encrypted in the BIOS. Maybe we can also get our revenge on the turd Shiba as kind of some bonus footage at the end of the video. So let's get straight to work. Let's finish plugging this thing in, and let's get the plug-in Blu-ray drive to use as a CD-ROM drive, since this is a netbook and therefore doesn't have an optical drive. We'll blank it with G-parted, and we'll see how the Windows 10 upgrade works with the Windows 7 product key, which is actually written on the computer. We're rolling! We're getting into Linux to run G-parted. The light is somewhat blinking on that thing, I think. See if we get any kind of errors on that. And the kilowatt is set up, and it's already at 15 watts. This is going to be the saddest thing throughout all of this, because this netbook does not have the processing power of the turd Shiba. It's got an older AMD APU from a couple years back, and it's slower and less power efficient. So, big hat tip to AMD for improving the efficiency of their APUs over the past few years. This is from back in the days when APUs were little more than a gimmick. But anyways, I still have the old Athlon there jammed in underneath the old Samsung monitor. Alright, let's blank this out and let our experiment commence. That thing's still working. Using a plug-in drive like this over USB is a little on the flaky side. I think it might be time to consider a newer enclosure for these things if I build them. Extra fan noise courtesy of this little guy underneath the keyboard, because it is so humid out that we are definitely going to need as much airflow as possible around here. Alright, there we go. Let's get rid of these things. We do have a product key, and if this doesn't work, we just factory redo it just like the other stuff. While this thing is installing Windows, I will work on the Toshiba as well. We're hanging out around the 12 watt mark, so that's the big thing. This is a netbook. I used to think that teens, 10 to 20 watts was efficient. Then I got the Toshiba. That's why the Toshiba is not a total fluke of a computer. Alright, since this is an external drive, you won't have to worry about shutting down the system, but shutting down the system while the CD's still in the drive, so let's just shut this bastard down. Come on, Linux. This is G-parted, running off of Debian, of course, and I bent the screen back so you can see the Athlon, so this won't be mirror vision of my ugly face. Well, there's a familiar sight. Looks kind of like the technical preview. So this time we actually do have the product key written on paper. So, we'll just see what happens. Might be a little awkward typing it in because it's underneath the laptop. Let's just see what happens. By the way, 15 watts while booting. There's our first snag. Missing proprietary drivers that are not actually on the Windows 10 install CD that are specific to the OEM. And this is creating a rather awkward situation because the Toshiba is already almost completely factory restored, and I still haven't started the installation yet. This could get awkward, but Pink Stick to the rescue. I've downloaded all the proprietary drivers from Acer's website for this thing, and no luck. Okay. Now this is really getting awkward because the Toshiba is factory restored to Windows 8. So much for taking care of the crap top tonight. I think we're going to swap computers that are non-functional, aren't we? Oh, and 12 watts to finish off. Switch computers. Hi, Windows 8. Bye, Windows 8. Alright, so we're going to upgrade to Windows 10. Then we're going to take the computer online, register and activate it, and then try a clean install afterwards. See how that works. Next step for the crapbook, skip the optical drive completely and use the Rufus utility to put the ISO on a flash drive and run it off of the flash drive instead. I think that's how I got the technical preview on there last time, when I ran into those driver errors trying to use a plug-in optical drive. Oops! Had to bring Windows 8 online to activate it first, before installing Windows 10. Alright, let's try this again, shall we? Alright, let's go upstairs, downstairs, and race these two against each other, now that Windows 10 is on a thumb drive for the crapbook. Ah, good. No errors this time. And this time we can just pick the whole thing up and type in the product key. That is going to be a little on the clunky side, but oh well. So let's see what's going on with this clean install if you have a Windows 7 product key sticker on the device. Alright, let's see what happens here. Meanwhile, on the Toshiba, we have to install Windows twice. We're doing an upgrade install first, and then once the hardware is online and registered into Windows' activation database, we're going to try a clean install. I don't know whether I want to use the CD, or maybe I'll just borrow the thumb drive that I'm using on the crapbook if this thing finishes first. So let's see how this pans out, shall we? Confirmed, the crapbook is snagged. You can't use a Windows 7 product key to activate a clean install of Windows 10. So we're going to have to do with the crapbook what we're already doing with the Toshiba. So it's time to plug the external DVD drive back in and run the factory redo discs on this piece of junk. And then, maybe we'll use the Pink Stick to upgrade to Windows 10 to register the hardware and then, do a clean install once the hardware has been registered. Computers. Go figure. So I've decided to go through with installing Windows 10 on the crapbook anyways, just to see if I can type in the serial number on the actual activation page when I bring this thing online. I really don't think that's going to be the case though. I think I'm going to have to factory redo this thing from scratch. Meanwhile, the upgrade version, or the upgrade install on the Toshiba is firing up. Oh look! product key screen. Let's try entering the product key again.
This product key didn't work. Please check it and try again or skip this.
Alright, let's try it from inside Windows then. That's all I need to see. The Windows 7 product key is useless to register Windows 10 with. So let's try, after we verify this works on the turd Shiba, then we'll try it again on the crapbook after a factory reset back to Windows 7 on this thing. Love that background, man. They certainly picked some nice default wallpaper. I'll definitely be using that on Tuxedo when I get it upgraded too. Okay, meanwhile, the crapbook is in Gparted to basically get rid of what's left of that Linux installation, that Windows 10 installation. So we're gonna factory reset this thing and then do to this machine what we're doing to the turd Shiba, and hopefully getting the same results. We gotta see how it works in the turd Shiba first before we continue with the crapbook. Not too good at this narration thing tonight, am I? Windows is activated. Okay, so it works as an upgrade. Now, let's see what happens when we try to fresh install. So Gparted is loading up on the turd Shiba. We're gonna blow away the Windows 10 installation and blank the drive one last time. Meanwhile, we're factory resetting the crapbook. So here's the plan if this doesn't work. Now supposedly, and I saw this in a Lifehacker article, don't know if I should trust them or not, but supposedly, once you've registered and activated Windows, a hardware hash gets saved to their system, so even if the machine gets blanked, you can still bring the machine back from total destruction by reinstalling Windows and connecting to the internet. So we're going to put that to the test. Now if this doesn't work, if by wild chance this doesn't work, the plan then is to go through what we just went through, factory reinstall the turd Shiba to Windows 8, then upgrade to Windows 10, and then use the Windows reset feature to blow away everything and hopefully take the remains of old Windows with it. So, definitely been an adventure finding out how exactly I want to deploy Windows 10, but all of this is going to come in handy when it's time to upgrade Tuxedo, and I have video documentation of exactly what all of these steps do, and all of these approaches do. Fun stuff. There it is. There's the partitions. It's time to destroy, destroy, destroy. There goes that brand new shiny Windows 10 thing, but at least we know that this thing is installed. Goodbye. Back to an empty SSD. Now we're going to try a fresh install, skip all the prompts, enter the product key, and see if this thing automatically registers when it comes online. Now, if this works after this next restart, then the turd Shiba wins the race and gets Windows 10 first, and becomes my first Windows 10 machine to run Windows 10 retail. Focus! The Debian plain background is screwing everything up. An all too familiar site. No bootable device. Please restart system. Well, let's shut it off first. And let's fire up Windows 10's installer and see what happens this time. This is a clean install from a completely blanked out SSD. Leading innovation. Yeah, whatever, Toshiba. Let's at least get this bit on camera. So, we are still capping around 20 watts or so, at least when it's running full blast. Of course, we know this goes much lower. That's the real conundrum here. What exactly should I do? Boot, boot, boot. I think I missed my chance to hit the button. What exactly should I do when this thing is faster and more power efficient than that thing is? I don't know what I'm gonna do. I missed it. I totally missed it.
Epic fail.
Let's try that again. No bootable. No, you just hit the button and make it say that. Control-Alt-Delete, 3-finger salute. Alright, we're gonna push any key to boot from CD. We're hitting the number pad, that horrible little number pad. Okay, Toshiba. Come on, hurry up. That thing's gonna catch up to you. By the way, I'm actually recording this in full auto mode on the camera, thanks to daylight bulbs. I'll have to talk about my lighting setup later. Basically what I'm doing is full blast is daylight lights, and then the lower lights off to the side are soft lights to warm things up in the evening when I'm done filming or when I want to start winding down, things like that. There's a little bit of science behind that in terms of how we as human beings react to blue light and stuff like that. Alright, I hear the whiny drive whining away, so it looks like we've got ourselves a Windows 10 installation underway. So the plan is, skip every single prompt that says enter the product key, and see what happens when we get to the desktop. Otherwise, maybe the crap book will win the race. Let's see if Lifehacker was right, and Microsoft really remembers hardware hashes like that. There it is, completely empty SSD, for now. Keep in mind, there's no way I can cheat with this computer. I have to do this the way I say I'm going to do this because I don't have a product key, and we've already ruled out using a Windows 7 product key. So even on the older Windows 7 machines where there was a product key, you can't do that. So I might need to use a product key extractor for Tuxedo in order to get the product key and save it somewhere in case I make too many hardware upgrades, then Windows goes kaput. As far as Monolith goes, whenever I build Monolith, I'm going to buy a retail copy of Windows 10 to get another license for that computer. So, this will eventually all work itself out somehow. Hi! We're setting things up for you! Had to record this at least once. So this is off of the clean install on the Turd Shiba. And now we'll see what happens when we bring it online. Supposedly, the hashing system saves hardware configurations. That will be most useful for devices like this, where the hardware is pretty much not going to change, except maybe the RAM. The major hardware, like the motherboard, the processor, and the graphics, won't change on this thing, so unless someone comes out with external video cards at some point. Alright, we're heading into the home stretch. What happens to the Turd Shiba determines what happens to the crap top. Whether or not we have to go to Plan C or not. We have signal. We have a nice background. Now, moment of truth. Windows is activated. Nice. Now we just gotta fix the computer name and all that other stuff. Close this out and start setting this up for real. Ladies and gentlemen, my very first Windows 10 retail computer out of the bunch, the Turd Shiba. Well, this computer is looking more and more usable by the second. Security software is up and running. I don't have Cortana up and running yet, and I haven't tied it to my Microsoft account yet, but that'll be something I do at the end of the night. And Windows 10, the upgrade, is installing on the crapbook. So from this point forward, this video would get rather redundant because you've already seen what steps are going to get this working on the Turd Shiba. So, in a way, the Turd Shiba kind of stole the show. So, that is going to be my plan of attack when I go to install Windows 10 on Tuxedo this weekend. Although Tuxedo is going to be a lot more difficult. It's going to, well, let's just say that putting Windows 10 on Tuxedo is going to require a lot more prep work than these portables. Still though, it's good to see that the best performing laptop I have, even if it's not the best built, is up and running with Windows 10, and I get to check out the new OS on here and have a blast with it. Alright, that's enough messing around with Windows 10 for now, at least on camera. Until next time, this is MultimediaJay, signing off. Thanks for stopping by.